各位观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看我们休士顿论坛。现在选战是我们这个选举只差几天了，所以我今天很开心又请到我们华人的代表吴元之，我们德州的州议员吴元之先生来跟我们讨论一下，身为华裔选民的这个到底是什么意思。Gene, how are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having me back again.
Gene, I'm actually reaching out for you for help. I know you've been campaigning nonstop. A lot of our audience are not just in Houston, so I kind of want to tell them a little bit about how I even got to know about you and what you mean to not just the Chinese American community, but to the Asian American community. 我想介绍吴元之，因为我认识他是我们在做义工。那时候我记得很清楚，我第一次见他的时候可能有7、8年前，那时候他还没有选上议员，那已经刚选上议员。It was at a July 4th 插旗的一个 event。那时候我们的长辈，我们很尊重的 very well respected community advocate Peter Wang. I respect him as my elder. He told me on the side, this guy, he's been doing this for years. He's been attending charity events. He's been planting flags. Nobody knows who he is. He doesn't say who he is. He just shows up, he does the work, and he leaves. And he's never stopped. So when we talk about whether somebody has contributed, whether somebody has been part of the community, this is what I mean. This is just one example. 吴议员他是小康家庭，他是个中产阶级，他也没有背景，而且他也很特别，他是唯一的州议员在美国，是在中国出生，在广东出生的。我们很多观众问说，为什么我们吴议员Gene不会讲中文？因为他家里是广东人，他跟他父母讲的是广东话。You speak Cantonese fluently with your parents. You don't speak Mandarin because people from Canton mostly do not speak Mandarin.
My parents speak Mandarin. But I didn't practice it after coming to America, so I can 听得懂说不好。
你講廣東話就很流利，誰聽唔識講？You can understand Cantonese too.
廣東話講得幾好。
See, there you go. See, I don't speak Cantonese, but see, that is not a. What our audience have to understand is at that moment in time, you didn't grow up with a lot of Asians. You didn't grow up on the West Coast or East Coast where there's big Chinatowns. You went to school in El Paso, then you came to Sharpstown here in Houston. There's a lot of diversity, but there's not a lot of Chinese.
When we first came to the United States, we moved to Odessa. It's a town of 20,000, and we were one of 4 Asian families in the entire city.
那时候搬来的时候，到这个德州一个小城，石油的重镇。那时候2万人口的话，只有4户华人家庭。但是 Gene 虽然不是在华人的社区长大，但是他非常了解我们华裔选民、亚裔选民的需要。他的选区其实不是靠华裔。Your district does not depend on Asian vote. You did not depend on Asian vote.
No. My district has one of the higher Asian American populations around here. Not as high as Sugar Land or Fort Bend, but still high for the city of Houston. But even still, the district that is not more than 10% Asian.
没有超过 10% 18%的这个亚裔，他能够胜选，当年其实很惊险。When you won that first election, you won by how many votes?
Oh, I don't remember.
It wasn't a lot. It was
not a lot. This is a very low turnout district because this is an immigrant district. This is a refugee district. The majority of people who live here are not able to vote.
这个选区是我们休斯顿这个移民跟难民很多的选区，通常移民跟难民投票率都很低。但是 Gene 就得到了所有族裔的支持，他代表的是所有这个中产阶级或是新移民的需要。You represented not special interests. You represented the people of your district as in middle class and lower middle class people, new immigrants, people that need the help.
Yeah. So most of the people I represent actually have never voted for me and cannot vote for me. And I'm very proud of that. I represent a lot of people without a voice. And that's one of the reasons I continue to fight for the Asian American community. I fight for the Chinese American community because our community has been one without a voice for a long time.
Gene 代表的声音是些以前不能发声的，他的选民很多是不能投票，因为新移民或者是非法移民或者是难民，但是他还是努力的在替所有华裔跟亚裔的候选人跟选民们服务。他过去当选几年之后，他一直致力的帮别的亚裔的候选人能够上来。So this goes back to why when people question us, you're a lawyer by trade, right? 你是律师，
Yes.
职场律师，你以前是检察官 or prosecutor, okay? I'm in investment banking. I got a master's degree in finance. I actually was close to Odessa in Lubbock, Texas. I was there for a long time. I was the only Asian in my graduating class. But I go hunting, I go fishing. We talk about football. When people tell us we're not American, that's insulting to me.
Right.
That is insulting to me. We're Chinese, but we are also American.
And that's what really offends me about what Trump has done in the last 4 years. And because fighting against this idea that Asian people, that Chinese people are not Americans, even though we're citizens and we've been in this country for decades, that really offends me. And I think it offends the community. It's disrespectful.
很不尊重我们华人。吴院长让我其实很生气，因为我们过去几天，我们一看到我们的节目，你白人歧视我们，我能了解，但是当你歧视我们的是我们的自己人 ，but when this divisiveness comes from some people, I don't like to. It's not fair to talk about race because a lot of Democrats are all racist, but there's a certain party, Trump cultists, brings it up to divide us. To say we're not American, I get it. It benefits their ideology to get their vote out. But when our own immigrants, when Chinese Americans, Asian Americans come out and say the same thing, is what I don't understand. Because we're being disrespected. They're taking our dignity. The excuse, the justification has always been, well, I work hard for my money. I want to save taxes, and Trump is conservative. But my question is, what does it have to do with you when you have no more dignity and respect, when you're not treated equally as one of them? Then what is the point of saving some money and saving taxes? 我不懂，我没有办法去。It's like saying the sky is, we agree the sky is blue, Gene. Earth is round, right? But when I talk about some of our guests that maybe it serves their own personal purpose, maybe they're getting paid, whatever it is, I'm not going to make accusations like them because I know that I'm not. I know our show do not take any funding from anyone. I know that as someone like me and you, we're high income. We don't need to do this. We can smoke cigars, drink wine, go fishing, enjoy our life. Why are we putting ourselves like your family and you have been under attack from racist? I see some of these Facebook posts and I worry for you and I'm angry. Why is our community not outraged? Why is it that and the Republican Party could call us chicks, could call someone carpetbaggers, but we're from here just like them.
Yeah.
Why is there no outrage, Gene? Why is it that our own community thinks, well,
so that's why I'm always shocked when I see Chinese Americans supporting Trump. Even though Trump has spent 4 years making fun of our community, disrespecting our community, telling Americans that the Chinese Americans are not really American. He has spent 4 years doing that. When the virus happened, he continuously blames our community. When I see Chinese people supporting him, despite knowing all the insults, all the disrespect, I really wonder about what type of motive is behind that support. What is the real reason behind that support? Now, if it's the Falun Gong people, I get that, right? Because they just want to cause problem. They like anybody who causes problem for the Chinese government. That's fine. But for anyone else, I don't know why they would support someone who openly attacks and disrespects our community.
I have to calm down. What he said hits the nail on the head. But Falun Gong is funded. We know who they're funded by certain foreign governments. We even understand that if you wanted to stabilize it, you came out from a authoritative escape from tyranny, so they call, and you wanna get back at a certain country. I get that, okay? But this president, this administration is not doing that for you. He's proven over and over again, it's only at his convenience to blame another country for his own failure in controlling the pandemic. And we know that if someone is from Taiwan and they think that Trump will help Taiwan become independent, the reason why I even bring this up, as Americans, Chinese Americans, this has nothing to do with us. The reality is that this election is about us and our kids living here. But for a lot of our undecided voters, or a lot of new immigrants or older voters, that this is a talking point. Well, Trump will help us get independent, or Trump will help us punish the Chinese government.
Yeah.
But that is also not reality.
So let me say this: if someone in the community, if you are listening to somebody who is talking about Trump, someone who's talking about American politics, and they're not Americans, they're not from this country, and they're from Taiwan, they're from China, and they're talking about American politics, why would you listen to them? Why would you care about what their opinion is? Why would you not ask, what is your real motive for having your opinion? You know, that would be the first thing I ask in listening to anyone talk. What is their reason for talking and their belief?
俊讲的就是，当你是新的移民，或者是在别的国家长大的，就算你也是美国人，但是你为什么要在这里，指责你可以选一个你的总统的人选，或者支持一个政党？为什么你可以说川普把他所有做的错事情都能够洗刷掉 ，sweep it under the rug？ 为什么可以 justify 所有的借口？因为最终就是你的幕后的目的到底是什么？是为了美国富强吗 ？Because if United States is stable, that is better for someone that wants to get back at the Chinese government. If America is stable, it will help other democracies gain whatever motive they have. But when we're unstable, when we have racist and divisive rhetoric, it doesn't help any persons from another country. I don't understand that. Gene, your screen froze again. It crashed. So it's okay. Zoom has been kind of difficult in internet. So I'll continue. 各位观众，我真的很不好意思，我很多事情，因为我写了很多点，但是我很难一直去回复，因为我觉得这些强词夺理跟狡辩，因为我们讲的是事实，我们新冠疫情死了已经23万人了。Dr. Fauci 已经直接一个科学家，经过6任不同党派的总统，已经直接被白宫决裂。当你一直用你说民主党只能用手的，不是手，就是拜登不是执政者，他做错了什么？他现在这个疫情的是白宫的问题。我真的是有时候真的是说的，因为我不是律师，我是做财经的，我用数字，或者是但是我们在做节目的时候，我们不是在这里去跟人家狡辩，去把黑成说的白的，把黑锅是蓝的，把它说成是黄的，算的是红的，这是 I cannot do that。所以然后每次说这个不同的温层，要去不同温层，你跟不同温层讲话的时候，你要有一个信赖，要有 logic， 要有 science， 你才能够再讨论。我在别的节目，有跟一个共同主持人，也是一个经典的 Republican 的 conservative， 他竞选过国会议员，他也是共和党的，但是他跟我讨论的时候，他不会去跟你吵，会指责你，也不会跟你讲说这个科学是不对的，他自己也承认川普的错误。为什么不能用这种方式讨论？为什么我们华人、中国人台湾，为什么我们亚裔在讨论的时候永远都是听信这个共和党跟川普这种仇恨的自交？ So I was telling our audience, Gene, that even when we talk to certain Republicans, a lot of Republicans have already came out and said this, that Trump does not represent conservative value. On my other shows, I have guests or co-hosts that are Republicans, that are lifelong Republicans, that are a certain age group, that are conservative, older. But when we discuss this, he can logically talk about it because we can talk about policy. We can talk about his mistakes. We agree to disagree. But why is it that our own people, when we discuss this, is one-sided, is blame, excuse, and then everything is justified? Oh, 230,000 people dead. Well, that's not his fault. Why didn't you wear masks? You guys should listen. You guys should wear masks on your own. Or they'll say, well, the economy is hurting. It's funny to me. I'm in investment banking. We already came out. Goldman Sachs, we all said the economy will be fine. This is not because of Trump. Manipulating the stock market doesn't make the economy good. What do we say to them? How do we argue against that?
So let's back up just a little bit. One thing I want you to keep in mind is this. Just because people are loud does not mean that they're in the majority or that they're right. And this is a very important point, especially when dealing with people who are supporting Trump. The Asian American community, including the Chinese American community, overwhelmingly reject Trump by more than 70%. But for Trump are extremely loud, they're extremely obnoxious, and they feel like they're big, but they are not.
吴元之仅说，你支持川普，这跟共和党没有关系。支持川普总是很大声，总是去指责别人，觉得自己是对的，其实是很虚弱的。越大声的人，不一定表示他有真理，没有 conviction， 他没有真正的这个良知原则，他没有真正的信仰。Gene, but I hate to tell you this, I'm loud. I got louder and louder in the last year. Because I've been told that as Chinese American, as Asian American, we're in business. We're supposed to invest in both parties. We shouldn't be loud and be short-sighted to just support one party all the time. This party that we support has always been there for us. They allow someone like you to run for office without getting in a primary to have another candidate to take you out. And hold on, let's go back.
Well, let me put it this way. Let me tell you this. The Asian American community has not always supported Democrats. In fact, in the 90s, Asian Americans overwhelmingly supported Republicans. But that has over time shifted because of policy reasons, because Asian Americans agree with healthcare. They support healthcare, they support education, they support science, they support the environment. And because of that change, Asian Americans, by the time of Obama, Barack Obama won 2012 with 74% of Asian Americans. Right now, the Asian American support of Joseph Biden is even higher.
在不同的时代，在90年代，支持共和党是正常的，因为我们代表的是保守跟这个对于这个保守的这个信仰，我们是支持的。尤其在那个时代，尤其在德州或是在休士顿，你不可能用民主党竞选。我们常常讲说，要支持我们华裔的候选人，要能够 electable， 他要是有这个好的经历，跟他能够选得上。那你要选，你一定要经过共和党。那时候，因为那个时代是这样子，但是进讲的没错，但是经过奥巴马，经过这个Junior， 这个不同的这个政权之后，我们有这个 policy， 这个政策有改变，慢慢的是倾向。刚刚讲了一句很道理，70%， 7% 的华裔选民其实是支持民主党 ，74% right， 74%。但是为什么我们觉得我们沉默的大众反而会被指责被骂 ？Why is it that the 26% that are cultists, that are Trumpers, are so loud and that they're leading the media's criticism? Why is it that on WeChat, all I see is these conspiracy untruth? It's not even a little untruth. It's absolutely made up. This Hunter Biden issue, on my last show 2 weeks ago, I lost it because they keep wanting to talk about it, saying, why is the mainstream media not about it? They're blaming on the media, saying we're covering up. What's there to cover up? Now it's came out to prove that this is completely a hoax perpetrated by somebody from Hong Kong. This is facts. These are facts. How do you tell them this?
Jimmy, I know you're upset. And let me just say something to help you just a little bit. Crazy people are always very, very loud. It does not make them any less crazy, and it does not make them right. If you are listening to an Asian American talk about how much Trump has done for this country, you are listening to a crazy person. Because the reality of what has happened, if you listen to facts and not Fox, you will see the truth. And the truth is 250,000 Americans, including Asian Americans, are because of the failure of one man. And we are headed to 500,000, including your relatives, your mothers, your fathers, your aunts, your uncles, who are going to die because of one man. That is the reality, not fake news.
这个疫情只有一个人的责任，就是现在在白宫的执政者的责任。但是为什么能一直去 脱罪名，一直去怪到别的国家？为什么可以一直去狡辩说这个疫情这个戴口罩 wearing a mask is up to each state, it's up to you to wear a mask. The president does not have to say in that. But yet in every other country that has successfully beat the pandemic, the leadership has came out and said you need to wear a mask. And what about injecting yourself with bleach? What about all the laws? There's uncounted for facts that he has said it himself, that he has said, that has been refuted, that's been proven it's not true. But yet our people are still sitting here. But I get it if it benefits your bottom line. If you could profit from it, you want to feed your family, I get it. But feeding your family will not save you when they come for you. Gene, your wife's family is from China.
My family's from China.
Well, I'm sorry, your wife's family is from Beijing. I've met your mother-in-law, I've met your mother. This is like every mom or aunt or grandma that we have. 我们常常说，我们看小孩子知道父母好不好，我们看父母也知道小孩好不好。知书达理、温文儒雅的女性受到尊敬 ，educated women. They told us too to come. My parents told us just study hard, work hard, achieve the American dream, save money, buy a house, get married, have kids. Don't get involved because where we came from, we didn't get to choose, right? It's politics and elected officials in some Asian countries are elected to the people are serving them. But here, elected officials are public servants. You're serving the people that voted for you. You're serving, but you're not only serving that, you're serving other Asians and all over US and all over the state. You campaign for them, you stick your neck out until you're attacked personally. I see these posts that are racist, that are just mean, calling you, labeling you, because you're Chinese, you're a Communist Party sympathizer, or any way they can. You and your wife are under attack for what? Why? Where's the Asians speak out about this?
So, it's actually funny because the irony is the Chinese Communist government actually wants Trump to win, because when Trump is in power, it has weakened the United States more than it ever has been. It has done more damage to Trump has done more damage to the United States in 4 years than Russia or China could have done in 2 or 3 decades. And they're very happy about that. When the United States is unstable, when the United States cannot lead the world, when the United States does not openly complain about civil rights violations, about what happens in Hong Kong, what happens to Muslims, what happens to Taiwan, they're very happy when the US government cannot complain, because they have no room to complain, because they don't want to complain. The Chinese government wants Trump to win because an unstable United States is better for Chinese power.
一个不平稳、不和谐的美国，对于极端的政权总是有好处的。你如果真的希望这个真的能达到你这个境外势力的目的 ，foreign influence. If you really want to 达到这个目的，你不可能会要去支持川普，你也不可能会因为希望台湾的独立而去支持川普，因为我们知道他是个言而无信的人，他只是说过了台湾是比肩，他就算他羞辱所有的亚裔是一样的，他分不出来你是哪里来的。When Trump and his cultists, his followers, talk about Asians or Chinese, they don't know where you're from. They don't care what part of Asia you're from. You're all the same. Yep. It doesn't matter. So every time it goes back to economy, conservative, and I don't want my kids to, there will be no economy left when we keep going like this. The economy is back for one reason only. The pandemic is not controlled because there is no science. 没有事实，没有科学，而且没有人格，没有原则. But yet, when we reel about this, it's like they want you to get mad. I always get because they just keep poking. When we talk about science and facts, we can't. They want to keep talking about things that are not true, and then you get mad, and they say you're loud, and you're a psychotic, or you're just agreeing for no reason.
Let me tell you, I've done this. I have these arguments on a daily basis. I argue with these crazy people all the time. Let me tell you how it goes. They will tell you something that sounds somewhat true. And then you think about it and says, that can't be right. And you look it up on your phone and it says, see, it's not right. And as soon as you say that's not right, they'll either say that it's fake news, or that they will change the subject and go to the next crazy thing. And then you say, well, that's not right. Look, that's not right either. And then they'll change topics. They'll change topic after topic because they don't really want, Jimmy, they don't want to engage you in a real conversation. They just want to drive you crazy because they think that driving you crazy is winning. They're not interested in winning your heart or winning your mind. They're here, as we say on the internet, for the lulz, for laughs. They think that just because by driving you crazy, by making that they are winning points. And this is why Trump has not moved in the polls at all. Because instead of talking about issues, instead of talking about ideas and the future and what we're going to do, he puts out insults he puts out crazy things. And then his supporters repeat crazy things. There's no discussion. They're not interested in a discussion. Relax. Just know that they're trying to make you mad.
I'm lucky that a lot of reviewers tell me the exact same thing. I just feel like when I'm the only one up there and I don't want to hide my emotions and be impartial or bipartisan, because 4 years ago, we said that. 4 years ago, we already said Trump is no good. But when he got elected, we said, hey, give him a chance. I mean, hopefully he'll reach across the aisle and do good. And hopefully we see, no, it is not worse, but the worst. It's not worse. It's only the worst happened. 我在节目上，我为什么很遗憾的没有上节目跟某些人去讲话？因为我没有办法去被激，我很傻，因为我不是一个辩论的人，我只把自己的这个感受讲出来，我们亲身经历过的感受。金讲的没有错，他们就是要你生气，然后不要讲事实，不要讲科学，然后一直反讽，然后羞辱你人格。激怒你，然后最后就是你看 Jimmy 马这个笨蛋，这个坏人，你看这么 fanatic， 这么的生气。But in the end， 我们需要有一些热情。We need some passion to come out. As Asian American, we've been told to be quiet for too long. That is why we cannot. The American dream to be the model minority. That is a myth. Model minority 是白种人制造出来安抚我们亚裔的。我们在这里交的税跟别人一样多，我们的小孩子都努力的念书，我们没有背景，因为我们是移民，我们一一的存起来。为什么我们要把这个奉献给别人？然后你跟我讲说，为什么讲话这么极端？因为你对付他们的时候，他们那么极端，你很 nice 的跟他讲道理、讲事实的时候是没有办法讲过的。我们没有改变过初衷。我再跟你讲一遍，Jim 他一直都是在参与这些华人的这个团体，他一直都有在参与，在 give back， 他一直都有奉献，一直带有 he has experience, he has gratitude, he participates, he has conviction, but yet he's been attacked. But he actually does do things. Where are the Republican candidates? On my show, I told you guys already, guys. We try to, at 80-20, we try to ask candidates, Republican candidates, we want to vet, we want to see if they care about us. Most of them don't even respond. And when they do respond, they will say things like, you people, because, I have money and I'm rich. And, for example, Gary Gates, you people. Why do we support a party that does not value you? In Fort Bend County, they came out and said these things, chinks, straw candidates, carpetbaggers. What else is there to prove? Yeah. How do you argue against that?
Jimmy, this is the fight that Asian Americans, that the Chinese Americans have been fighting since the day there was such a thing called a Chinese American. This has been our fight from the beginning of our history in this country, but from back in the time of the railroads and gold rush. When our first generations were here, this has been the fight to be recognized and treated as equals. And the people who tell us, you're the good minorities, just be quiet. Don't be like the bad ones. Don't be so loud and protest and demand rights like the Black people or the Hispanic people. Just be quiet and work. Those people who tell us those things are the same ones who oppress us, who treat us as unequal. And if you look at Trump, you look at the supporters around him, they treat Asian Americans like little pets. That as long as we're quiet and we're doing things, they pat us on the head and tell us, good, 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 good. But the moment we say, Don't say Kung flu. Don't say Wuhan virus. Don't attack our community. Don't make fun of our community. Don't disrespect our community. Then they say, bad dog, bad dog. And they hit us on the head.
Gene?
And the same people, the same people who don't like Black people, the same people who don't like Hispanic people, the same people who don't like Muslim people, they don't like Chinese either. They may not be as loud, but they don't like Chinese either. They want you gone too. And those are the same people who support Trump, who go to his rallies, who are in the pickup trucks with the Trump flags. If you are supporting him, you are supporting them.
God, Gene, the past few months is nonstop. I'm tired. I feel like it's like you're fighting against the entire tide or crowd of these fanatics, crazies. And then when I use those terms, they'll turn around and say, well, why are you accusing and blaming? What you just said is exactly how I feel. I really appreciate you because I experience this every day. The past few weeks, I've taken my mom to vote. She's never voted in 30 years. My brother and sister that does not live in the US, they're working somewhere else, are calling friends, family to go vote for a certain candidate. We know that. Why is that? And then when I go out there and I see these Trump trains every day here in District 22 in Sugar Land. I'm sorry, every weekend. There's traffic jam on Highway 6. These big old camouflage trucks and tanks. And they say, oh, is their right to exhibit the First Amendment rights. But I see them with their Trump flags, with their Confederate flags, with rifles, pickups. I can see the rifle. These people looking at us, and my family will tell me, don't say anything. Don't you get into trouble. Don't honk at them. Don't do this. I have a Biden sticker on my car, and I'm supposed to feel afraid. And I grew up here. I speak fluent English. I have a CHL. Yet I'm afraid. My family's afraid. Why are we being made to feel this way? I don't see Democrats going out there to tell the Republican to protest against them, to intimidate.
So let me say this. One of the things I think everyone needs to remember, if you are a Republican and you're Asian, think about this. The parties in this country are always changing. They're not like other places where they kind of stay the same all the time. The political parties in America, because it's a two-party system, always change. They always move and change and add new groups, subtract old groups, and they always change. What has changed from the time of Reagan till now? And one thing you must remember is under Reagan, under Bush, was they were pro-immigrant. They were pro-immigration. They loved Chinese people. They loved Chinese immigrants. That has changed. Those Republicans have been kicked out. The immigrants in the party have been kicked out. The people who run the Republican Party now are the party of the white supremacists. They have gained power. There's a reason why Trump will not condemn the white supremacists, the Proud Boys, the KKK, the neo-Nazis. There's a reason why he says that they are good people, because those are his supporters. Those are now the people in charge of the Republican Party. Whether the party wants to believe it or admit it or not, that is the reality. The sane people, the sane Republicans who love immigrants, who love Chinese because they're hardworking and they build businesses, those are gone. They've been kicked out. Many of them have come to the Democratic Party.
你现在所支持的共和党不是当年雷根或是老布希的共和党，那个时代共和党是欢迎我们移民，欢迎我们把经济做起来，欢迎我们把技术带来，全世界最顶尖的人才。All the talents will comes to this country. That's what makes this country great. Welcome. 现在的这些人都已经被踢出共和党了，为什么？现在共和党是白人至上主义。我们了解为什么？因为经济关系，因为科技的发达，他们这个蓝领阶级、中产阶级没有跟上。We know technology and the economy has affected the Bible Belt, the Rust Belt. They felt left behind. This wealth divide, this gap is happening. Yep. But what the Republican Party does is use it and blame it on immigrants, blame it on outside forces, blame it on, right? So
there you go. And so that is actually what you have said is the entire history of race and immigration in America. it did not start with the Chinese. It started with the Irish. It started with the Germans. It started with other people who were not British, who were not English. And when those people came, even other white people, they were told, hey, these are the dirty white people. These are the uneducated white people. These are the lazy white people. And then when Italians came, when Sicilians came, when Czechoslovakians came, Germans came, they said, oh, no, and these are the new immigrants that are dirty, who are criminals, who are lazy. We don't want them. And then other people came. Then Asians came, Africans came, Hispanic people came. And then they just shifted the names of the people. This is the history of America. The difference now is that they can say under an umbrella of being white, okay? Because in the past, Italians were not considered white.
You're right.
Okay? Sicilians and Czechoslovakians and other people and Greeks, they weren't white.
Jewish people.
Jewish people were not white. Now they are. And now you have Stephen Miller, who is a Jew, telling Trump to shut down immigration from China, to shut down graduate students from coming to this country and helping build this country, right? The ideas are always the same. The people who are the target, only that changes. And now it's so much easier to target because you just look for the Asian people. You just look for the Hispanic people. You look for the Muslim people. And those are the ones you're supposed to target. Those are the ones you attack.
美国一直都是一个能够甩锅，历史以来是怪性移民，爱尔兰人不是真正的白人，意大利移民不是真正的白人，犹太人不是真正的白人。经过他们的努力，现在慢慢平衡，但是现在变成我们亚裔华人移民是最容易去甩锅去怪的。只要经济不好，只要有治安不怎么，都是怪他们。我们跟回教徒、跟少数民族是站在一起的。Like Muslims 被怪，我们也会被怪。当你舒服需要你的捐款的时候，需要你的投票的时候，他乖乖的摸你的头说狗。But Jim, what you said about being dogs, about being used, and some of that is our own fault because we don't vote or we're not united to support a certain candidate. Our votes don't count. We do not unite our resources like certain other minority groups, or even spread it out so we could have representation no matter who it is. We don't do that. Right. But this is the number one criticism I always hear that criticize us as people that are progressive, that 自由派. Okay, 我们中国讲自由派. We want freedom. 自由派是什么? So you guys are dogs. See, U.S. is going to be racist anyways. You guys are dogs. You guys are not Chinese people. You're not respected. So you guys can talk all you want. This system is no good. This system is stacked against you. You guys just make your money shop. This is from our own people. So what do you say? When we do fight, when we do want to say something.
This is repeating. Who do you think that comes from?
I know where it comes
from. People who
from.
don't want us to have power are the ones who tell us to say that to each other. And it worked. And it works.
That's work. It's a shame.
Let me say this. Asian Americans in America for too long have been too quiet, but that is changing. So in 2000, in the year 2000, there were only 4.5 million Asian Americans, including Chinese, including Vietnamese, including Koreans, including everybody. 4.5 million registered to vote. This year, there are 11.5 million Asian Americans, more than doubled in 20 years. There are almost 800,000 Asian Americans in Texas alone. This year, 2020, Asian Americans have now turned up at 160% of the turnout in 2016. 160%. This is, and let me just say, in America, in China, and this is coming from my own parents, so I understand. They say, be quiet, don't rock the boat, keep quiet. The nail that sticks up gets pounded down. The head that sticks up gets cut off. And that is our saying. But in America, we say the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Clean.
Yeah.
I've always said that.
if you are not loud, if you are not obnoxious, if you are not constantly protesting and demanding your rights, then you get nothing.
Get nothing.
And not only do you not get anything, your children don't get anything, and your grandchildren.
Yet we pay the same taxes, yet we contribute just as much as any other group. But right. Why is it not? Why? I'm sorry, you have numbers that I want to give to our people because this is important. 2000年20年前有450万的 register 注册的选民是亚裔，450万。20年之后，我们有1150万注册在整个美国，光是德州就有80万的亚裔选民是注册的选民。我们这个 number 是可以改变一个选举的。他们不要你去改，他们不要你投票，他们要你去投票给川普，或是叫你不要投票，就是因为他不希望把他们掌权者他们的利益分出去给你们。Because they already are the benefactors of being in office. Why would they want to give it up? Why would they want to spread it out and make it fair or equal? You know what is the most hurtful thing that I've heard in the past few days on our own show? An educated person from academia tells me, people like you don't really know America. I don't even know how to vote. He said, the way we know America is normal people that are not involved in politics. First of all, I'm not involved in politics. I have 3 kids. I don't want to do this. I don't want to put my neck out. I'm losing business. I'm being criticized. My parents are feeling pressure. Like I'm some fanatic. I don't want to do this. But I can't because I see it. I experience it myself. I speak English. I'm from here and I still experience it. I have a lot of friends from different races, but the way...
Let me help you. I'm in politics, but I talk to people who are not in politics every single day. And let me just tell you, Jimmy, that you are on the right side, that you are on the side of normal people, that you are on the side of everyday people. Because the way you feel, and you know how crazy they make you feel?
Yeah.
They make normal people all around this nation feel the exact same way.
I'm fed up. I'm fed up. And I'm tired of being angry all the time or emotional. They say, oh, you're emotional. You lose control. Well, how do I not lose control when he goes on show and says, this is what they say, okay, in Chinese. You guys are not normal. Me and my friends from other races, the way I know about America, especially ones from countryside or people that are not in cities, is there's a certain way that Asian immigrants are supposed to act that is preconceived. We know how to get along with white people. This is the way it's always been. We got to keep the peace, and this is what we should be. What you guys are doing is rocking the boat. You guys are changing things up. It's not right. We don't have problems with race. We don't have problems with other races, white people. How do you talk to people like how? Oh.
Yeah. So again, we go back to this idea that their objective is to insult you, is to make you mad, because when you're mad and when you're emotional, you're not thinking straight and you can't argue with them. That's their objective, is to make you upset. The way I deal with this every single day. I deal with crazy people every single day. They attack me personally, they attack my family. And most of the times I just laugh at them. Because the funny thing is they all say the exact same thing. And sometimes they say it and leave out entire parts and don't know that they have missed like entire parts of their own garbage. So look, either you can allow these people to upset you, or you can recognize that they're crazy. So, and I know it's hard. I know it's hard. And I know you're a guy who cannot let injustices go. And I know you are a guy who cannot let a lie go. But sometimes, you know what reality is. And the way they win is by trying to bend reality, by changing what reality is. And you simply sometimes must say, I refuse to step through this mirror into crazy land, into the upside down. I will live in this reality where facts matter.
Gene, this reality is created by our earlier immigrants that actually fought for the rights. They're enjoying the fruits of the sacrifices of not just last generation, but people like you who has to stick your neck out. They're enjoying that. Yep. But yet Oh, okay. You're absolutely right about all of that. But I want to say it in Chinese, okay? So our audience could hear. Because my point has always been the people that watch our show, a lot of them are educated. A lot of them are immigrants that has been here for a long time. Okay, people that do know. But there's a lot of the people that it's hard to reach are the new immigrants, or the people that are not usually don't watch politics or they don't know which party. Even my mom or my mom's friends will say that I don't like either candidate or I don't know politics. That's fine. I want them to know. I just want it in Chinese so let them understand.
Go ahead.
What you see on WeChat or what you see in Chinese media, those are all paid for. They're not true. And it's very hard to say because to them, they're already brainwashed because that's all they see. And then they say the mainstream media is one-sided. Why is that? It doesn't benefit to go against the current administration. This is not in an oppressive country.
Well, and that's why I wanted to laugh when Trump said he was going to shut down WeChat. I'm like, okay, go ahead.
Well, that I don't want to get because it benefits a lot of immigrants.
No, I know.
I know. But yes, because I see the crazies on WeChat. And as somebody that is kind of, I'm not really media, but as somebody that has my own audience, I feel like I have the burden, or I need to come out and say something.
You do.
But week after week, Gene, week after week, I have to come out and people have to say, well, you losing control and why are you so angry? But there's people to support us. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good, kind people with empathy and compassion. But this doesn't make us look good. When we get this angry, my blood pressure is high. I mean, this pandemic, my kids are online learning at home. We can't send them back to school. We're all working from home. It's nuts. The pressure is immense. And I know these people here in District 22 in Sugarland.
And Jimmy, I have to tell you this. Good people are always quiet. This is the way reality works. This is the way all societies work. The good people are always quieter. The crazy people, the people who are violent, who are angry, who want to destroy things, they are always louder. They are always louder. And you have to remember that.
你说善良的人就是比较沉默的，这些大声疾呼的去参加这些 Trump rally 好像很急气、很大声的，他们不代表什么。很多沉默的大众 but Gene, this is what I want to bring up too. Apathy, being quiet. This is what happens during the Nazis. I always bring up this example because everyone is apathy, but you become 帮凶，你跟的是助纣为虐。Same thing with the Japanese imperialism when they attacked China. There's 1,000 to 1 population. How did China end up? Because everyone Everyone is empathy. Let them do it. By then, it's too late. When they come to get you, it's too late. 他们来抓你，把你放到集中营，或是叫你滚回你的国家，或是讲是武汉病的时候 ，it's too late，因为没有人会为你站起来才发生。I really appreciate you coming on. There's so much more I want to talk to you about. I have pages and pages of things to refute what they say, but there's no. I want to, but I see all the events you're at. I see how you're at in Tracy G. On my last show, I asked everyone to go out to support midnight voting. I see you at social media. I see what you're doing, and I know it's hard because this doesn't benefit your election. This doesn't help.
Jimmy, I'm happy to come talk to the Chinese American community. I am very, very happy because this is my home community. These are also people that I've been fighting for all these years. I am always happy. In fact, why don't you have me back on after the election and we can talk about some of the results and talk about where we're going to go. And if you would permit me, like I would like 2 minutes to sort of like giving closing remarks.
Of course. Gene, before that, give me 1 more minute. I want to tell you something that really, because my point is, I hope these voters that are still undecided or they don't like either candidate, please go on to vote. Let me tell you something. When I went out to vote last weekend at Smart Financial, which a lot of Chinese Americans live in, when we vote there, my 11-year-old girl went with me too. She's never been, so they let her when I'm using it. Anyway, so we're sitting there. I have pictures of. So what she said is really, it scares me. It's sad, but it's also true. She can read. So she says, how come all the women names are on the bottom? How come there's only one D? What does that mean? She doesn't know what it means, party. How come all the names like ours are like the Kathy Changs or the Hubert Vos or the Jews? Why is that all on top? Why is it clear? That was eye-opening for me. Why is that? Why is that only one party welcomes immigrants and diversity to run? And then she doesn't know politics. And the last few weeks, because I live in District 22, she brings me this in the morning and it hurts me. She says, this is so mean. Why are they sending this stuff to a tax street? Why is this headband? Why do we get this every day? Why do we drive around when we go on to eat or grocery shop wearing a mask? Why are these people not wearing masks? Why is there these people with guns and flags honking at us because we have a flag? We don't do that to people. When she tells me that, that's when I know we need to be loud. This is not, we can say we made it. Okay.
We're fighting for our lives.
Yeah, yes. This is the most important election of our lives. Gene, please give our audience a 2-minute remark. Speak some Cantonese if you can, because a lot of our audience do speak Cantonese. Say what you can.
No, I have to do. My Cantonese is not good enough. Let me just say this. I'm very proud to be an Asian American. I'm very proud to be a Chinese American. I love my heritage. I love my family, and I love where I came from. And this is very important to me because this is my home community. And let me just say this. The Chinese American community has been hurt by the pandemic more than any other group in America, because our businesses were the first ones to be shut down. Our businesses in Chinatown shut down in December.
Yeah.
Not in March, in December. And our businesses have been closed longer than any other places. We are the ones under attack when Trump and other Republicans use insulting and discriminatory language, even though we told them not to, okay? But listen to this. Even if you don't care about the respect to our community, even if you don't care about the dignity of yourself or your family, how about this? 250,000 Americans are dead because of Donald Trump's failures and the Republicans' failures. And we're headed to winter. If you look at Taiwan, you look at China, you look at Japan, you even look at Vietnam, a place that's very poor. They are controlling the spread of the coronavirus because they are listening to science. And you have instead Donald Trump, who cannot even protect his own family or his friends or his closest supporters. If we do not want to see 1 million dead, 2 million dead, 3 million dead, do you trust someone to protect you if he will not even bother protecting his own family? And that is the question you have to ask yourself. When we go vote for the last time on November 3rd on Tuesday, ask yourself, the pandemic, the coronavirus, COVID-19 crisis is the greatest crisis this nation has ever seen since probably World War II.
More died than World War II.
We're about to get there.
Yeah.
And
more will die.
So you ask yourself, who do you trust? Do you trust the man who will not even bother protecting his own family, his own closest friends? And that is the answer you must answer. Now, that's the question you must answer. And I trust the sane people, the sane Chinese people can make that decision.
各位朋友，摸着自己的良心，我们不是在指责，我们不是在说谁的良心道德高，你相信谁？我们已经死了超过23万人，因为新冠病毒。这个领导人一直在甩锅。我们为什么中国、台湾、日本、韩国都已经控制疫情，连越南是比较落后的国家都也控制了疫情，为什么我们没有？为什么我们到现在还要被他们去分化？为什么还是要被丑化？你不管你能省多少 tax， 或是你觉得经济能够更好，或是你股份赚多少钱，你用你的命来换，值得吗？ You want to use your life, your dignity, and respect to trade for some tax dollars to think you'll make more money in the stock market? It's not going to happen. 你的尊严，你孩子的尊严，还有你的良知 ，basic human decency。拜托各位，投一票，你去投票，代表让我们亚裔，让我们的孩子，让我们的长辈。It's not just our kids, it's our elderly parents. It's the future immigrants. It's the people that fought this good fight, that gave up so much. Gene, I want to tell you something. Gene 是很骄傲的中国人，这点很重要。虽然他是美国选出来的议员，但是从来没有去害他的中国人的这个 identity。 以前我们会说 it's a melting pot， 美国是要把你的这个文化跟你的 heritage 融化进去。No， 我们很骄傲的维持，你可以是一个很好的美国的华裔，你可以是很好的中国人。He's proud of it. He's always been proud of it. He's never hid it. This is why 他们给他贴标签。That's why they 扣红帽。They label and say you're certain foreign. No, just because of your skin color, just because you're Chinese doesn't mean that. Because he fights for all of us. Guys, please go vote, please. And this is the last chance. I hope you guys could feel Gene's how truthful he is. He is. You know what's amazing about Gene is he's been elected for a long time, but he never lost the realness. He's real. You didn't become polished. You know that's like a bad word. Like you become polished or slick. No, you speak from your heart and you say what's true. You don't hide it. And also when we're wrong, we admit it. When you're wrong, you know you're wrong. You admit it. We cannot go there, sit there and just hold on to a false truth. So 再次我们非常感谢 Gene. Gene, I really appreciate you for doing this.
Thank you.
Let's hope on Tuesday we have good news.
Yeah, go vote and let's talk again after the election.
Take care, buddy.
Right, bye.
Thank you.